May the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts be always acceptable to you, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. There is no place in my soul, no corner of my character where God is not. As I was looking into Evelyn Underhill, whose life we celebrate tonight, I was taken by this quote. I thought it was a great way to think about God throughout our entire being. We read tonight in the gospel lesson about where we worship, something to consider as we sit in this beautiful sacred space. This morning, our gospel lesson was about the mustard seed and how it produces such great things. Well, I started thinking, of course, about gardening, which I do quite a bit of. I was out today, as a matter of fact, enjoying our yard even in this heat, and reflecting upon the great abundance that God brings forth out of creation, a great place to worship in thanksgiving and gratefulness for all that God gives us. I was out picking black raspberries. I don't know if you've ever had a black raspberry, but it's a gift straight from God and straight from the birds because you can't buy them at the store. They're a little bitty berry, which is something between a cross between a blackberry and a raspberry. My wife's favorite berry. Well, the birds came and brought them to us, as birds do, and the birds eat the berries, get on our fence, leave the berries behind, plant them for us with a little bit of fertilizer. So now we have black raspberries all along our fence line. So I got our kitchen door and pick a couple of bowls a day now, almost at the end. We also have blackberries that the birds have brought us and many other things in the yard that I don't always want, but the berries have been a nice addition. Well, if you know anything about seed oftentimes requires what's called scarification, which means that, for instance, when the birds eat the seeds and they digest them, they nick the seeds. They open the seeds to germination. Great thing that birds do for us and other animals. Some seeds require that. As I was thinking about that, thinking about just things in general, as I often do out in my garden, I thought about us and how we sometimes deepen in our faith. Often we are brought to God through joyful things, through thanksgiving, but sometimes, unfortunately, we experience chaos, we experience hardship, trauma in our lives in many different forms. If you think about it, it's kind of like scarification within our soul. It opens us to God more fully. It's not the best way that we might choose to go about it, but it does open us up. And I thought about Evelyn's quote, that there is no place in our souls, there is no corner of our character where God is not present. And sometimes when we are going through hardship, we should think about how God fills our soul, fills our mind, and fills all of our being. And that's what often gets us through the hardship. And that's what we have to hold on to. So whatever brings you here tonight in worship, I pray that it's joy or thanksgiving. But if it is hardship, if it is trauma, if it is difficulty, then I pray that you find the peace and the comfort that you seek and that your life is deepened in your relationship with God. Amen.